Hey guys, it's Areesa. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're turning some plain old vanilla ice cream into delicious ice cream bars. So these ice cream bars are going to be caramel pecan flavored. You can make these whatever flavor you like, but I'm going to show you how to make a caramel sauce that is perfect for ice cream. It stays nice and soft even in the freezer. So first things first, let's start off with our ice cream. So I'm just going to use some plain old vanilla ice cream and I'm going to scoop some of it into a bowl and let it sit on the counter for about 5 minutes or so it can start to soften. And then I'm actually going to use a hand mixer to smooth it all out and get it to the perfect consistency. Now at this point, you're gonna mix in any of the toppings or flavors you want. The first one I'm gonna show you how to make is our caramel sauce. Now I have shown you guys how to make caramel sauce on my channel before, and the technique is exactly the same. We're just gonna switch up the ratios so that it stays nice and soft in the freezer. So I'm starting with half a cup of sugar and I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of water to that. I like to run that around the side of the pot. And please be careful here. It is very easy to burn yourself when making anything with caramelized or boiling sugar. And then once your sugar has turned a beautiful golden amber color, you're gonna shut off the heat and quickly add in a tablespoon and a half of cold butter that's been cut up into little pieces and 6 tablespoons of whipping cream. And as soon as that all comes together, you wanna take it right off the heat and pour it into a heat-safe dish. And you can see here the consistency of the caramel is very thin and liquidy. Don't worry, it's supposed to look like that. Once it cools to room temperature, it'll be the perfect syrup consistency. Now our second mix-in is going to be some pecans. I'm going to toast and salt them. This only takes a few minutes and adds such an incredible flavor to them. So I'm starting off with some raw pecans and I'm just gonna chop that up into little pieces. And I'm gonna put those into a dry pan and let them toast for a little bit. Make sure you're stirring or tossing them quite consistently so that none of them get too toasty. Then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt because I love the flavor, but any salt will work for this. And then I'm just gonna drop them on some parchment to cool. And you can see that beautiful toasty color. Now we're gonna go back to our ice cream and fold in those toppings. Just make sure they have cooled down before you do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix in my toasted salted pecans. And you can see how much the caramel sauce has thickened up. It just sat on the counter for about 20 or 30 minutes and it is the perfect consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead and swirl that in. I don't wanna mix it in completely because I do want some ribbons and pockets of caramel in there. So now we're gonna turn our ice cream into ice cream bars, and to do that, you're just gonna need some kind of popsicle mold. So I'm using this mini silicone mold from Amazon. You can use some popsicle molds from the dollar store, or even just some little paper cups will work as well. And then I'm just dividing my ice cream up into my little molds and making sure they're all even and smoothed out. And because 4 mini ice cream bars is nowhere near enough, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that with a second mold. And I like to let those sit in the freezer for about 20 minutes or so they can start to firm up, and then go ahead and add in my popsicle stick, and then you can smooth the top back out if you need to. Then you're gonna let those sit in the freezer for at least a couple hours or overnight until they have set up completely. Now the last component we need to make is the chocolate shell that we're going to dip our ice cream bars into. All you need for the chocolate coating is some type of chocolate. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate chips and some coconut oil. I used 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips and then 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. And if you're not a fan of the coconut flavor, just use refined coconut oil, which has the same texture and consistency, but doesn't have that coconutty flavor. Then you're gonna go ahead and microwave that for 30 seconds at a time until it comes together. And I know it looks a little bit strange, but just keep stirring and it'll turn into this beautiful thin chocolate coating. Now for my favorite part, let's unmold the ice cream bars and dip them in that chocolate coating. So I'm actually using a frozen baking sheet here and lining it with parchment paper. I just threw it in the freezer for a couple of hours so it'll help keep our ice cream cold. And then I'm gonna go ahead and unmold my little ice cream bars. And you can see the caramel swirls in there and the little pecans poking out. They look so good. And if your ice cream looks like it's starting to melt, just pop it back in the freezer for 15 minutes or so before you start dipping. And now our beautiful shiny chocolate coating has cooled down to room temperature, so it is time to start dipping. And you can see just how quickly that chocolate coating sets. It only takes about 15 or 20 seconds for it to completely set. Now you could totally just leave your ice cream bars there, but we're gonna take it one step further and add a nice little drizzle on top. So I'm using some caramelized white chocolate. This is Calibo Gold. I thought the caramelized white would pair nicely with that caramel swirl inside, but you can use whatever chocolate you like. And I'm just gonna melt that down and put it into a parchment cone. So I'm gonna put the ice cream bar on top of some parchment paper and use a second piece to cover the popsicle stick so it stays nice and clean. And then you're just gonna go ahead and drizzle away. And there we have our adorable little caramel pecan ice cream bars. So there we go, you guys. Those are the finished ice cream bars. I hope you like them and I hope you try them out for yourself. Before I go, I just wanted to quickly say I actually post a lot more on TikTok than I do here on YouTube. So this is my TikTok. If you're not already following me, I would love if you did, if you want to. I will also leave it in the description below. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or what you want to see next, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.